Hey everyone, it is Micah again, back with the third installment of the Final Coils of Bahamut. And this one, I have to say, was a lot of fun for me. It really brought back a lot of good memories of doing this content with my free company, and some feels from the first version of the game. I decided to split this video into two parts. Originally, of course, I was going to do one, but there's just so much to these turns compared to the others that I felt two smaller videos was probably for the better. But I'm going to have that second part out as quick as I can. It's already well into production, so it should be done very, very soon. Now, I know you're likely thinking these turns are going to be the most difficult in the series. But I actually think they're not as difficult as the previous four, especially that last one, but still not as easy as the first five. If your DPS is low, you may still want to bring a friend since most of these turns are dependent on your damage more than your survivability. But I'm also not using potions, I'm not using food or anything of that sort, so those may also help you if you're having a little bit of difficulty. And my gear is all eye level 490 tome gear and Yorha gear with the resistance weapon, all of which are easily obtainable at level 80. So even if you're new, it should not take long to get the same gear or better, especially with a patch right around the corner. But with that being said, let's just get right on into this. The first turn in the series starts you off in a little set of hallways that will take you to the boss. There's nothing special here. It's pretty straightforward with no tricks, so just go ahead and make your way through. When you get to the arena at the end, you will be face to face with a large curl named Imdagood. Now this boss has very few things to worry about these days, much like almost all the others I discussed in past videos. Many of his most devastating attacks will barely scratch you now, but of course, just like always, there's still one mechanic that can make or break this run. When the fight begins, you can pretty much just stand still and burn Imdagood's HP down until he moves back to his spawn point and begins to cast Electro Charge. This normally triggers at about 85%, but the speed in which we're able to DPS him down these days means he'll most likely be under 70 or even 60% when this begins to happen. After he finishes casting Electro Charge, room-wide, undodgeable, but minimal damage will go out, and the add phase, which is the make or break phase, will begin. During this phase, Imdagood will become invincible and summon two sets of adds made up of one son and one daughter each. When you see these adds spawn, it's important that you always take down the daughters first and quickly. The daughters of Imdagood have an ability called Prey that they will begin casting soon after they spawn and is represented by this red icon above your head. If they're able to finish this cast, you're going to have a debuff placed on you called Electric Blaster, which will explode after a few seconds, doing only around 10,000 points of damage, but leaving you with a pretty substantial 20-second paralyze that can cut so deep into your damage on Imdagood that you may not be able to survive his final phase. There's not much to worry about when it comes to the sons. However, after the daughters are down, you do want to move the sons to the outer perimeter of the arena and kill them there. They're going to leave a pool of electric yuck behind that will slowly whittle down your health if you stand in it, so it's best just to have it off to the side where you don't have to worry about it. You will also notice that if two of the same adds come close to each other, they will tether themselves together. This gives them a still noticeable buff that will make defeating them just slightly more difficult, which is another reason you want to take down the daughters as quickly as you can. After these two sets of adds are dead, Imdagood can take damage again, so you immediately want to begin attacking him. His electric burst attack will go out doing more unavoidable but minimal damage, and the phase will repeat with another two sets of adds. Handle these exactly the same way you did the other set. Now after the second set of adds goes down, I'm the Good is going to remain invulnerable, so you just need to kind of sit around and wait until he summons another, this time single set of ads. Again, it's the daughter first, followed by the son. And when these two are down, I'm the Good will then start taking damage. And now is the time you want to go all out on him. After another electric burst, he will be in his final high damage phase, where he's going to be cycling through 3 attacks: Heat Lightning, Wild Charge, and a new one named Cyclonic Chaos. This new ability is the one you need to worry about. It will tether you to I'm the Good, and after a short countdown, do around 100,000 points of damage. He has a few different orders in which he uses these 3 abilities, so it may sometimes just be up to RNG on whether or not you survive. But burning him down quick is always the best bet. If you did come with a partner, you can stack for Cyclonic Chaos and split the damage. But going hard at DPS is the key to success. You never know when he's going to use that a second time. Now with I'm the Good dead, it's off to the next turn. And this turn is a bit of a pain in the backside, especially if you're solo. And not because it's difficult, but because it requires multiple paths and some backtracking. When you begin, there's going to be 2 glowing arrows in front of you. Stepping on one of these arrows will launch you into the air up to a platform with some trash mobs. Now, it doesn't matter which arrow you choose here, they're both eventually going to lead you to the same platform that has 2 glowing circles and a barrier. Kill the trash mobs and stand in one of the circles. If you brought a friend, you can each take your own to speed this up a little bit. If you're by yourself, you need to do each circle individually. After a short countdown, the circles will activate and the barrier will drop, revealing another 2 arrows in front of you. Now, if you are with a friend, you each want to go a different route here. But if you're solo, again, you can choose either. They both will bounce you around the arena and bring you to another platform with another glowing circle and another barrier. Kill the fodder, stand on the circle until it activates, and if you brought a friend, hey, now you can go directly to the boss. But if not, you need to use return to go back to the beginning of the dungeon and then take the opposite route you did before. This is going to take you to the second circle, which you need to activate to drop the barrier. Just a little friendly reminder here, return has a 10-minute recast timer. So if you go the same way you did before, you're going to have to sit and wait that 10 minutes out. So be sure you take the opposite route here. Once the barriers are down, you can proceed to the boss, a giant hydra named Kalia. Now this boss seems really tough when you're first learning to solo it, but once you know the tricks, you're going to be good to go. You start this fight by simply DPSing her down. When she reaches 90%, she's going to gain the ability to cast Borrow Field, which will place a circle of yuck below her that will stay below her no matter where she moves. If you step into this circle, you're going to get a vulnerability debuff that will stack for each time you step into it, as well as a heavy debuff which will slow your movement speed. This means you cannot at any point in this fight run through Kalia to dodge attacks. You need to always move around her. At 60%, you're going to start the ad phase, which is super chaotic and may take a few tries until you're used to it. So if this takes you down, don't be discouraged. There's a whole lot going on here. This phase begins with 3 security nodes appearing in the middle. When you see these 3 nodes appear, you want to move to the outer portion of the arena so you're not standing in between them. Kalia will eventually become invulnerable and go to stand between the security nodes, making the entire center of the arena a dead zone, meaning if you step in it, you're dead. 3 ads are then going to spawn in the outer perimeter of the room. An electric node, which looks like an egg, will appear in the south. A gravity node that looks like a cube will appear in the northwest, and a weapons node, which is a giant sphere, appears in the northeast. If all of these nodes get too close to one another, they're going to merge and it could be a wipe. But if you're ready and you plan ahead, this will not happen. and you do this by moving to the correct location for your class once those 3 security nodes appear. If you are a mage, you want to move to the northeast because the weapons node takes reduced magic damage. If you are a physical damage class, you want to move to the northwest because the gravity node takes reduced physical damage. As soon as these nodes appear, you want to immediately start DPSing the ad that takes reduced damage based on your class. After you take down that first node, the 2 remaining nodes are going to rush to each other really quickly and merge. This merger is going to give that remaining node a huge health and defense buff, which is why you do not want it to also take reduced damage. If your DPS is a little too low and all 3 nodes merge, that new node will cycle through taking reduced damage to physical and magical damage, and that may just cause a wipe. On top of that, while all this is going on, the 3 nodes will also be doing their own attacks, and the 3 security nodes will also be targeting you to push out their own AoE attacks. After the egg, the sphere, and the cube nodes go down, the security nodes will then explode, doing damage in their immediate area, and Clea will become damageable again. And Clea will start this phase by using Nerve Cloud, which will do unavoidable raid-wide damage. At this point, you can just go all in and burn Clea down while dodging her very large AoEs, and then move on to the next turn, which I will cover in my next video. Like I said, won't be long, gonna rush that out as soon as I can. If there's anything not clear, be sure to ask me about it in the comments, and I will try to clarify any mechanics that you were confused by. If this video was helpful, I hope you drop me a like and a subscription, and you can also follow me on Twitter for more fun and random stuff, or just to keep up to date with what I'm doing here on my channel. If there's any other content you want me to cover, please feel free to leave me any suggestions. And with that, as per the usual, it's been a hoot until next time. Have fun.